This is the 2020 KTM 390 Adventure. Now, this is the first adventure bike that we have imported as Drive Dive. Previously, we have only imported naked bikes and sport bikes. And we have only showcased the sport bikes on this channel. You can see them on the video tagged right here in the corner. So, what makes this particular bike special? Self-promo. This bike is on sale at 750,000 Kenya shillings, and it only has 2,000 kilometers on the odo. Now, this particular bike changed my mind. I'm usually a sports guy or a naked bike guy, but this particular bike changed my mind. When you think of an adventure bike, you think of something slow, sluggish, heavy, unless you're talking about the big adventure bikes. Now, this particular bike changes the definition of CC does not equal to power. Actually, it doesn't even change it, it defines it. CC doesn't equal power. When you hear of the 390cc, your head can just go to the Vogue Rally 300, it can go to the Suzuki Versys 250, it can go to such similar models like the Versys 300, but this power output, it's much higher. I don't know how KTM did it, being a single cylinder, but this particular bike is fast. Now, it rides like a Ninja 400 or a CBR 500. It is light, it just tips into the corners, and this particular bike just changed my mind on lightweight adventure bikes. So, what are generally the competitors for this model? We usually have bikes like the Honda CB500X. We usually have models like the Benelli TRK 502, TRK 502X. We also have a model such as the Vogue DSX 525. Now, those bikes achieve 45 horsepower, and this particular bike from factory achieves that particular figure. Now, that isn't just the spec sheet, that's actual world figures. While you are riding this particular bike, while you are in gear 1, the bike is just easy to ride. When you're gear 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the bike just keeps accelerating. And when you're doing traffic speeds, this bike can easily maintain 120 to 140 kilometers per hour easily. And when you need it, it can even push itself to 160 up to 180 kilometers per hour so easily that even the engine, even if it's a single cylinder, doesn't struggle. Now, I don't know how KTM did it, since this particular bike just cruises, pushes power so easily and smoothly throughout the rev range that it just makes you think it might be a 2-cylinder. Now, apart from the power output, which is so lovely on this bike, what does this bike offer on top of it? Now, KTM is known for offering technology affordably, such like companies that have emerged recently like the CF Motor Company, which are offering advanced technology at such a good value for money. Now, KTM recently on their newer models have started the pay-to-play system, whereby in order to access certain features on your bike that it already has, you have to put an extra fee on the bike so that they can unlock the whole bike for you, which is weird to me, since you are paying a hefty amount of fee so that you can get a bike that is restricted in some categories. But this generation of the 2020 KTM 390 Adventure came fully unlocked, fully unleashed. Now, what makes this particular bike unique? The technology wise. Now, for a 2020 model, this bike came with dual channel ABS system. It has cornering ABS. It also has traction control. You remember the Ninja 650 that we had previously? It didn't have traction control. KTM offered the traction control on their 390cc bikes, which is such an amazing feature that for a beginner, since this bike is generally suited for a beginner, it just offers confidence to new riders. Now, what about the further technologies on this bike? You can pair your Bluetooth to this device so that you can get updates on your phone when the bike needs certain things. Now, this particular bike has a very easy control system. On some models, you'll find the buttons to control your display is located on the dash. But KTM and other companies like Ducati, Aprilia, I believe, offer their navigations for their display right here on the left side of their handlebar. The way that KTM designed this system, it's so easy to use that even an 8-year-old can use it. It doesn't need any explanation. It generally has the statements right here. Settings, back, up, down, select. It's so easy to use so that you can toggle the display. You can either change it from dark mode to light mode. You can check your trip meters. You can reset it easily. You can check the oil temperatures. You can check so many things on this display. And fun fact, this is a TFT display. So it is very bright and easy to see. And the way that KTM displays their information, whether you are riding daytime or nighttime, it is so easy to use. Now, this particular bike's buttons light up so that even when you are in complete darkness, you can be able to see what you are pressing quite easily. This doesn't come with all the bikes, by the way. This comes with only premium models. But KTM offered this all in such a small, well-packed package. This right here are the DRLs of these particular models. Let's see if they will ignite just like that. These are the DRLs. Now, this particular bike has very bright LEDs. When you are cruising at night and you want to toggle ama kuwasha mataa zako, they are on the same brightness. I will compare them to the newer vehicles, the Mazda CX-5, the BMWs. Zenye zinakuchoma kwa barabara vizuri. This particular bike has such bright LEDs that you won't have any complaints whether you are riding daytime, nighttime, and the visibility on this bike, it's just amazing. KTM put everything in place on this bike so easily, you might even be tempted to think it's a dirt bike. Changing the oil, easy. Replacing coolant, refilling it, easy. Once you want to top up your oil, easy. Everything is placed so easy for you to work on your bike on your own, such that it won't be a hassle to you. Now, what else did KTM offer? Now, let's talk about the suspensions offered on this bike. This bike comes with WP Apex suspensions, both front and rear, and they are adjustable. This means that you can adjust your suspensions for both preloading and rebound, and it makes riding quite easily. Now, you can also adjust the rear suspensions, and the way that KTM offered this bike, once you go to the settings on this bike, you can toggle off-road mode, and it just improves the suspensions, making every pothole, every rough spot on the terrain feel that much smoother on your body. This particular bike might look a bit high for short riders, but it actually is easily approachable. As I stated earlier, this particular bike is an adventure bike, and when you think of an adventure bike, you usually get a sort of inkling of a very high seat height. But when you throw a leg over the bike, as you can see, it's quite easy to flat foot and maintain yourself on traffic. Now, I am 6 foot. If you're 5'2" going below, I wouldn't recommend adventure bikes for you. I will usually recommend naked bikes, just so that you can easily, if you're a new rider that is, so that you can easily get the confidence needed while you're maneuvering in traffic and at start and stop traffic. But if you are a tall rider, this particular bike will suit you quite easily. Now, The seat height compared to the sport bikes, obviously it's very different. Even the seat feel and everything else, since this particular bike is much more upright. So what do you get? Your legs are much wide apart, but when you are cruising, the tank feels narrow. Now, as I stated, this bike feels more like a Ninja 400 or a Duke 390 than an adventure bike. When you're cruising with it, KTM designed this bike with such a lightweight frame so that when you are cruising with it, it just tips into corners. You can lift it up easily. You can just maneuver yourself in traffic. Unapenya tu. Kazi yako tu, it's just swimming in between vehicles so easily. The power is there. The body itself, it's so narrow. It doesn't give you any stress when you're getting this particular bike. What are the modifications that we did on this bike that isn't offered by KTM? We put these particular side mirrors, which are easily adjustable. Any angle you desire, you can just rotate these particular levers and adjust them to any particular direction you desire on both sides. We also replaced this with a tall windscreen so that even if you are tall like me or just a short rider, you won't get any friction from the wind resistance while you are cruising at high speeds with this particular model. We also did a fresh service, so even though it is a very low mileage bike, it's generally recommended for you to just a good practice when a new import gets to Kenya, just for you to change up everything and do a fresh service on these particular bikes. Now, as we stated earlier, this particular bike is on the market for 750,000 Kenya shillings. That is much lower than, that's a very good deal compared to the prices on the market. You'll find similar models ranging from 800k, 850k, and high mileage ones, ndo zimefika 650k. So what you get with this bike are all these safety features. You get the low mileage, less than 2,000 kilometers. You get an assured import, Kenya registered, for only 750,000 Kenya shillings. So if you're interested in this particular model, you can DM, you can reach out at all the other socials. You can also contact me on the number in the description for you to get this particular bike. There are so many things that you haven't talked about, like these knuckle protectors. We haven't talked about how the turning radius of this bike is just so easy to use. We haven't talked about a lot of things on this particular bike. But what you need to know is this bike is just user friendly. It is fun to ride. When you want it to be a hooligan, it can be. When you want it to be a gentleman, it can be. This particular bike is generally a good fit for most Kenyan riders. So if you're looking to upgrade your next bike, be it a Taro, a Versys 300 Rally, and you're looking for that extra power affordably, you can just DM and get this KTM 390 Adventure. Thank you for tuning in to Drive Dive, and see you on the next episode.